Hi, my name is Rod Cleef, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to Multifamily Rockstars. I am Rod Cleef, and I'm thrilled you're here. Now, this is where we interview people that are crushing it in this business, and this is the show where we really give you the inside scoop on how multifamily investors are creating incredible success inside of this business. And as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of our massive action team for the Warrior Mentorship Program, Mark Nagy, on. What's up, Mark?
Hey, Rod, doing well. Earlier, I was actually just thinking about, why this show is so important, because we're not just interviewing people to learn and gain knowledge like, some of our episodes that we have, but multifamily rock stars is specifically people that have learned from you, right? So people listening right now, they can actually see the journey of someone who maybe just started listening to the podcast or came out to a boot camp and, went through, and how they actually applied it in the real world with some help.
No, that's absolutely correct. I'm really glad you gave some clarity around that. So today we've got a super good guy, and his name is Colby Bowers. He's a vet, and his company is Veteran Pride Investment Group, and Colby now has over 500 units that he's gotten as a warrior in our program, thank you for your service, number one, my friend, and welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you, Rod. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to talk. This is one of my favorite subjects.
Love it. So why don't you give a little bit of background as to how you got rocking in this business, and just do a little better job than I did of your background.
No, it's funny. I get asked that question quite a bit. How did I go from 23 years in the military as a medic, wounded warrior, entrepreneur at heart, to, getting into multifamily? Because, really they're kind of both ends of the spectrum. And I tell you, I think I'm just lazy at heart. I didn't want to work a real job. So I was like, real estate's got to be the way to go. And I had started out with some single family homes and some fix and flips, just probably like almost everybody else. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously I realized that, there's a lot of hard work in this to become successful, that it's, it's not a get rich quick. No. But I just love the bug. I love the freedom. I get to work from home. I make my own day, like I said, 23 years in the military, I was told where to go, what to do, and all that. And now it's still that way, but it's my wife, and I have the flexibility to take days off in the middle of the week to spend time with the family, and be more spontaneous. And so that's what I really, really love about real estate and multifamily in general, and what that's done.
And so how did we meet? What did you come to one of my events? Forgive me that I don't remember, but talk about how you got acclimated into my ecosystem.
Yeah. So actually, probably for over a year prior to me attending, I think it was the Chicago boot camp in 2018. That was my first Rod experience. Yeah. In person.
And it's been all downhill since there, of course, right?
I wasn't going to say that, but no, it's been great. But I listened to your podcast. I knew, I wanted to get into multifamily, but just like, it's like, how do I get, I don't have a big paycheck. I don't have, I'm not rich. I don't know a lot of rich folks, so started listening to your podcast and really liked it, and liked the fact that, there wasn't a big upsell. Or any upsell, actually. It was all about passing on the knowledge and stuff. And I really appreciated that, because I'd listened to and been to some conferences where, hey, if you want to learn more, pay $5.99, 3 payments of $5.99, and we'll have you, flipping houses or whatever in 2 weeks and stuff. And I really like that. And the fact that you really give back to the community, the abundance mindset is what really, really drew me in. And then, and when, going and actually, hearing you in person, meeting some of the other warriors, and meeting the folks that were at that boot camp, 500 or 600 people. It was a breath of fresh air. And like I said, I've been to other conferences, and everyone's, it's all about me. How can I get that Lamborghini? How can I, get the 10 wife, or, all this stuff. It's all the materialistic.
And I've had both of those things, by the way. I've got the 10 wives still, and I'm just messing with you. What's crazy about the podcast? We just had our 500th episode. It's like crazy. It's like, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I never planned any of this, but thank you for your kind words, man. I mean, that Chicago event was a really fun event, and I think where you were going with that is the people at I don't know what it is about me, or if it has anything to do with me, but I seem to attract people that want to help other people. Did you see that dynamic when you were there? Did you feel that, Colby?
I did. And and I still feel it to this day. Honestly, it's, I can reach out to, like the Ivan Barretts, the Steve Brettons, the ones that, you had up there on the stage, that I was like, I was this nobody, and going, wow, these are the gods and stuff. And, I've reached out on Facebook and talked to Ivan, picked up the phone, and and they're willing. And that's what's been so great,
that we are blessed in that regard. And so now you're in 524 doors in 5 freaking states. I mean, you're not wasting any time. No grass is growing in your business plan. Very impressive. Let's talk for a minute about team. You put a team together, you've got a partner, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yep. So talk a little bit about your team, and kind of give us an idea of how it came together.
Yeah. So I do have a partner. He's also a veteran, Rob Palin. And, we started this, I'll tell you how, kind of how we started the company, and then how it's helped me grow my team is, both he and I had careers, so to us, it's, our family was taken care of. We had 401ks, we had, pensions, whatever the case may be, coming in. And so we wanted to have an impact, and, that was the importance of it with ours. And so we donate 20% of our profits back to veteran and first responder charities.
Oh, wow. That is so freaking cool, buddy. That is so freaking cool. I just had Eric, another warrior, on a podcast we did for Veterans Day, and talking about veteran suicide, and how literally every 70 minutes a veteran commits suicide. It's just horrific statistic, and that there's like 37,000 homeless vets out there. I salute you, buddy. And let me say this, and I'm sorry I jumped in on this, but that really hit me. I've seen this in my students, in my warriors. And I will tell you, like when I first interview them, because we interview them to see if they're a fit, one of the questions I ask is, what's your why? Why do you want this? And when I hear that it's to help other people, success is inevitable, because power moves to those that serve. And here you go. You're a perfect example of this, Colby. So I'm really, really impressed with what you just said and what you guys are doing. So anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted, but I just got excited.
Yeah. And it kind of leads to is that our mindset is, when we look at a property, we're actually looking at is how can we impact that community to a positive, no matter which market we're in. Is, and we try to see is how can we, so like just like Eric's, one of my passions is also with the homeless veterans, is we're looking at is how can we set aside a number of our units within our properties for HUD VASH, which if folks, some of your listeners may or may not be familiar, but it's Section 8 for veterans that are, they're either homeless or on the verge of being homeless. They're in the system to be getting better, becoming contributing members of society. But one of the things they don't have is stable housing. So there's a program out there. So we focus on that. And, and the goodness, like you said, is kind of like karma. If you do good things, good people come around. And when we're looking at our business partner or building our team, and team is not just my business partner, but the team is from property management to lenders, brokers, everybody, boots on the ground, everybody you need to basically, source a deal to get it to closing and running it. Is, I focus on three things. It's not like how well, yes, obviously it's how well can they run, make money and run the property efficiently, but that's not the first part of the conversation. My first part of the conversation with them is, what's important to them? Is it relationship building? Is it networking? What are they looking at? Is it impact? And if they don't line up, and if we don't mesh morally or
your code of values, got it. Yeah.
Values.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's then, they may be the greatest people in the world, maybe the best property manager out there, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good fit for my team.
No, it never is. That it always starts with values. Mark, please. I'm sure you've got some stuff to ask, so please go for it.
Yeah, I want to hear about the jump. I mean, from what I understand, you started investing, in the single family back in 2001, obviously 19 years ago, but, have done over 500 doors in the past year or so. And we always talk about real estate, how it's an exponential growth curve, right? Flat for a while. And then when somebody hits it, it takes off into the sky. When did you really start to see those things take off for you? And what happened there?
Yeah, like going back as, single family, it's like, I thought that was the way to go because I didn't know any different back in, 01. And I had 10, I didn't have a large portfolio, right? I didn't have like the 500 doors you had out here in Denver.
It took me 2,000 to get the memo, buddy. You're way smarter than I am, just so you know.
but I had like 10 properties in multiple states. Again, every time I was stationed in a different state, being in the military, I'd buy some houses. And
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what saved me in the 08, in the crash was it was blind luck, basically, because I had bought those properties in different markets. It's the only reason I survived. So I had some properties in like Florida and New Jersey that just were doing horrible.
Yeah, I got crushed. Yeah.
I got crushed. And, but I was able to keep those properties because I had other properties in, say, like Georgia, South Carolina,
where it was flatlined. It was flatlined like in the middle of the country. So those sustained your other ones. Wow. Yeah. See, I was all in Florida. I had, and that's why I got killed. Well, you were lucky. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I kind of kept that same mindset coming into multifamily. So I invest in other people's deals. And I, with our money, so I've got money with, another deal from Florida to Georgia, Southeast states. But then I focus on, my primary markets, and I say markets now. It was market, but now I've got two markets I'm really focusing on. And that's where, I'm focusing on my energy and stuff to source deals and everything and get them closed. But, having that ability of folks knowing that they're like, hey, if we can find a deal and it makes sense, I know I can call Colby up and his team will be interested. Doesn't matter where the market or where it's at, if the numbers make sense. And then we obviously will dig it down into the weeds, but we'll invest anywhere. And so I think that's helped out because that's helped us, our deal flow has increased because of that. Sure.
So do you feel like being in our group helped you with that jump from single to multi? I mean, and if so, what were the benefits that you saw? What really helped?
So I say, because when I joined, right, I did the whole, I did the coaching and being part of the warrior group and stuff as a whole. And, I'll say is the coaching piece it was right time and right place for me. Mm-hmm. And that's really what created that great learning curve. And when I had my coach and just spent a lot of time, really digging in and showing me is how do I, not just source a deal, but how do I underwrite it?
Right.
And it's one thing because, and you say it on your podcast, just get out there and practice and practice and practice. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, at least in my experience is, I can practice all day long, but if I'm practicing it wrong, am I going to do it wrong?
It's got to be perfect practice. It can't just be practice.
Right.
That's great. Very, very insightful. Yep.
So having a coach was great to bounce that idea, and also other warriors with a little bit more experience.
Right.
Was a huge confidence builder.
Yeah, sure. By the way, guys, if you are interested in the Warrior Group, text CRUSH. We'll help you crush it, as we helped Colby. Text CRUSH to 41411, and we'll set up a call. You can chat with Mark or someone on his team and see if we're a fit for you, and just as importantly, if you're a fit for us. So again, that's CRUSH to 41411. Yeah.
And by the way, on that topic, Colby already mentioned it earlier, the way we have our calls with potential students is the same way that Rod runs his boot camp. Is we just want to add value to everybody that we possibly can. And if it's a fit to work with us and there's a ton of value there for you, great. That's awesome. If not, we'll still leave you in a better spot. So we always encourage everybody to text in and reach out.
You'll definitely leave that call a better person. No question whether we work together or not. I'm glad you brought that up, because we really help you get aligned on your goals and some other things to get you going. So yeah, that's a very good point.
On that topic, if I could jump in, a lot of the questions that I get actually when people text in and they want help is, hey, how do I invest out of state? How do I go out of state? How do I invest in other markets? Colby, you've obviously done some of that. What does you need to put in place to invest, outside of just your local backyard there?
Network. And I think, networking with other warriors, a lot of my deals that I'm getting are from other warriors. And when I'm finding deals, the first people I reach out to is my warrior network. And that's helped. And then from there, I've grown, so now I've sourced my own investors and different things, but, I still reach back out to the warriors, on almost every deal, if we're looking for it, offer that opportunity. Because I look at it as, I've been so appreciative of what the group as a whole has done for me is, I try to go out and to those folks that have helped me out is, hey, here's something that, here's a deal I potentially have. Are you interested? Give them that probably before I even, there's a ton of money in the group for sure. I mean, there's millions and millions and tens of millions in there. And I know you're under contract on a couple deals right now, if I recall. Like you've got a 15 unit and a 69 unit, one in Arkansas and one in Indiana. Yeah, well, that Indiana market, Indianapolis, is awesome. And I don't know Fayetteville that well, but good for you. Oh, you just acquired it. You're done on that one. Okay, under contract on the 69 unit. Okay, fantastic. And then actually, we're just went under contract yesterday, signed PSA on another deal in Indianapolis.
Fantastic, buddy. You're on fire, man. That's freaking awesome, buddy. Let me ask you a question. Was the first deal the hardest?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It always is. It's the most stressful. It's the scariest. It takes the longest. And then it's like, boom, one run right after another. I mean, your bio's out of date. You just sent this to us, and you're under contract on those 69. Now you've got another one under contract. It's freaking awesome. And I can't tell you how often we see this with our warriors. It's, they take, maybe 8 months to get the first deal. And then it's like, next thing I know, they've got 6 or 7, closed. I'm like, what the hell happened in that short amount of time? No, that's awesome.
Well, Mandy just mentioned she did, I think, a 53 unit also in Indianapolis, right? And I think part of why she mentioned why she did that size is because at the bigger ones, there's a lot more competition. But that's what I was curious about for you, Colby, because I remember, if I remember correctly, you like to do the 25 to 100 units. That's kind of your criteria, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what we like our sweet spot. Why
do you like that? Why not bigger?
I'm not opposed to bigger. It's just I don't like competition. And when you start getting into those larger properties, it's mainly you're going to have more sophisticated sellers, mostly, and typically they're going to be using brokers or they're going to be reaching out to their network. And, with us still being, I still consider myself small fish. We're still trying to break into, the top 5, even the top 10 in some case with some of the brokers. So if I do get a deal, it's usually over 100 plus units it's typically going to come from a broker. By the time I get it, I already know it's been picked over. So, and I verify it by underwriting going, yeah, this is, $1 million or $2 million overpriced. So what we've done is we've shifted is looking at those smaller properties, and I don't want to say bypassing the brokers because those are an important relationship, and I buy a property through brokers, but doing some cold calling, direct mailers, that direct to seller, it's going to be not that they're unsophisticated, but it's going to be more of your mom and pop. They may own 1, maybe 3 properties, and they don't want to deal with brokers because they don't understand brokers. They don't want to, give up that commission. And they're like, yeah, let's talk. And that's where we've been really.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. People hear me talk about how powerful it can be to go direct to seller with mailings and cold calls, and you're proof positive. And we've got quite a few warriors that use that model, and you are in the sweet spot. I talk about this. In fact, I did a whole course on the sweet spot in that, because it's mom and pops, and it's and the big players aren't interested. Like we don't do anything under 100 units right now ourselves. And Robert, he just looks at me like I'm nuts if I even mention it to him, because I love the smaller stuff personally, but he likes the bigger stuff. So, and I let him run that. But where do you feel like you are the most knowledgeable in this business? And talk about your partnership. Like, what do you handle and what does he handle? Just give me an idea of are you each playing to your strengths? Do you both each do the same things? How does it work?
Definitely play to our strengths.
Yeah.
My partnership is kind of expanded out. I actually have a couple young guys that we're kind of bringing on and bringing into the business. And I don't consider myself very analytical. So I don't like doing underwriting. That's kind of my kryptonite. But my partners, they're really good at that. What I feel like where I contribute the best is doing this. I'm kind of the face of, the partnership. I can speak in public. Apparently I like to talk, if you listen to my wife and my partner. Making those phone calls, building those relationships, and then my partners are more they like being the behind the scenes. They love numbers. Some of them like spreadsheet, kind of like Robert. Robert's kind of that uniqueness. He'll do both. He can get out there and talk, but he's getting better and better at the talking. But he was good actually when we started. But he's a bit of an anomaly. But if you guys don't know, Robert's my partner. He's a CPA, done $1.5 billion worth of commercial real estate, and super nice guy. And but he's the analytical one. Just like you and I are more aligned in that regard. I'm the mouthpiece, as it were. So you each play to your strengths, and you guys hear this so often on this podcast, just the power of that. Stop trying to build your weaknesses, hire a line or partner for your weaknesses, and you're just going to get so much further, so much faster. And so you don't do any self-management, correct? It's all third party, or all third party, correct?
All third party. And talk about those relationships with your property management companies. Give a little insight on that.
Yeah. We do a lot of very extensive vetting process. I think, outside of sourcing the right deal is having the right property manager for your properties that you're focusing on is super critical. And I think I've heard you mention it, right? You can have a great property in a great area, but a poor property manager can break the deal.
Oh, it can totally ruin the deal. And it may not even be a poor property manager. It just may be you picked one that is not their wheelhouse. Because if you give a 50 unit to a company that only does 150 unit properties, they're going to crash and burn. If you give a C asset to a company that only does A and B, they're going to crash and burn, and vice versa. It has to match up because they're completely different animals. Now, talk about so you consider do you consider those relationships partnerships?
I do. And it's actually, we're growing such a great partnership, if you will, with one of our property managers. We're actually looking at one of these deals I have coming up is bringing them in as an actual partner in on the deal.
Yeah, that's very common. And by the way, guys, that's a question you should always ask when you're interviewing a property management company, if they have an ownership interest in one of the direct competitors, because that's a conflict of interest if they do, because which one are they going to fill up first if they've got vacancies in each one? But they are definitely your partners. Super. And yeah, so the asset management, is that handled with your partners? They're the behind the scenes kind of people in that regard, or you play a role in that as well?
A lot of times I'll play a role. You know, what we'll do is kind of we tag team the property management, really anybody we're interviewing. A lot of times we'll talk to them individually and not really say we're part of the same group. Because we'll ask different questions. Yeah. And if the questions I ask, you know, I'll forget to ask something, and one of my partners will call it, and they'll ask a different question. Even if they say the same or ask the same question, just, hey, is there consistency? And then what we'll do is towards the end, we're making a decision. We'll narrow it down to say, you know, 1, 2, 3, you know, management companies. And then we'll actually jump on a call and either like a Zoom. I love Zoom these days because I like to see, you know, verbal, physical expression versus just over a phone.
Non-verbal.
Yeah. How are they answering that question? What's their body language? And we'll do that, and we'll have 2 to 3 of us on there, and we'll just basically put them in the hot seat. And we've gotten actually quite a bit, you know, and we do it in a you know, we try to keep it lighthearted and stuff, but we do it in a professional manner. And we've actually gotten quite a lot of great feedback of, hey, I've never done anything like that. You know, you guys ask great questions, you know, you're thorough, you know, we like it, you know, and that's part of it. We're having folks seek us out now because the way we do operate. Yeah.
No, that's super. Yeah. We you know, that's one of the things in the Warrior program. We've got an incredible list of questions to ask a third. In fact, I did a whole book on it for the team for interviewing third-party property management companies. I would tell you, I think you learn more about a market from a property management interview than pretty much just damn near anything else. I mean, they know every nuance, the employment base, the demographic, the marketing that works there, and all. I mean, we learn so much when we're interviewing property management companies. It's astounding. Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Colby. We get a lot of people that are thinking about getting into this business, that listen to the podcast. I mean, I'm in 50,000 ears a week, and a lot of them, you know, maybe get caught in analysis paralysis. They're just haven't taken action, and maybe they're afraid of it. Maybe they just feel like they need to know everything before they can pull the trigger. Talk to those people. What would you say to those people that haven't taken action, that are maybe a little bit afraid of this business? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, that's a good question, Rod. And you're right. I think everybody at some point when they're starting out in this goes through the same thing. I know I did. You know, prior to that first deal, even leading up to that first deal, going through, it's, you know, you overthink it, you know, then it's, you know, then you have buyer's remorse. You know, did I spend too much? Just whatever doubt you're going to go through it. I think at least for me, what got me through that is having that support network of not just my family, that was very important, but having a group like the Warrior Group that I can go in and tap into and reach out to different skill levels, basically, or experience levels. You know I can reach out to you and Robert if I come across a 200 unit, right? You know, that would still intimidate me probably today. I'd be less intimidated because now I know who to contact, right? You know, and the same thing going out is, you know, and that's where I think is, you know, education is key, and in networking and not in the networking of who has that experience. And that's, I do it. You know, Mark, you mentioned, you know, Mandy in that 53 unit. I know exactly which property you're referencing because we looked at it. Mandy and I talk weekly, actually, about combining forces.
Mandy's another warrior. Obviously, those of you listening, if you haven't heard that interview with her yet, but yeah.
But yeah, it's just, we're in the same market, and and I think that mindset of, I don't look at anybody else in my market as competitors. I really look at them as future partners. And so, and obviously if they're a warrior, it's just so much easier because we come from that similar starting point of being overwhelmed, not knowing anything,
sure,
to, having that comfort level of going, okay, hey, we've lasted this long through the warrior group. We've done X, Y, and Z. Hey, I know I can count on Mandy. She can count on me, and we can reach out to other warriors to take down. I feel confident if I found a $20 million deal tomorrow and numbers worked, that I'd feel confident putting an LOI out on it before talking to anybody.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it. And guys, even if it's not the warrior group, there are other, you can go to a meetup group and just want to get aligned with other people that are doing this business so that you minimize the mistakes. You've got people looking over your shoulder. Now, if it's the warrior thing, come check us out. We'd love to talk to you, whether we work together or not. And again, it's just crush to 41411. But regardless of whether you do it with us or not, get out there and get educated, get aligned with a group of people that are doing this business so that you've got resources, you've got people you can lean on, you've got, people to bounce things off of, because it just makes such a huge difference and massively shortens your learning curve and your speed to success. Anything else, Mark? Colby, you've had a lot of value already, but what you got another question?
Yeah, last thing that I always like to ask all the warriors on Multifamily Rockstars, especially someone who's a military veteran, because I'm sure you've seen a lot of crazy things and been through a lot of crazy things. But what are you doing right now to, personally overcome all the fear in the world that's going on, through COVID, presidency, whatever's going on, right? Everybody has a lot of fear. What are you doing to overcome that right now?
I'm just living my life.
Yeah.
Politics come and go, politicians come and go, different administrations. I don't look at any political entity as going to solve my problems. My problems are my problems, and no matter who's in office isn't going to fix those problems. So I look at it as I'm the only one that's going to fix them. It doesn't matter, corporate taxes, are they going to go up? Who knows? Honestly, yes, I care, but at the same time, I don't. I'm still going to do what I'm doing. I'm going to adjust my underwriting to compensate. Yeah. That's how I'll adjust, but I'm still going to be out there buying property. So that's just me, and I think that's part of the military, because, we're so used to, changing and having different leadership and moving around and I think adapting is the biggest thing. Is I just don't get hung up on one thing.
You're used to change, and there's only one constant in life, and it's change. Well, thanks for coming on the show, brother. You added tremendous value. I appreciate you being here, and it's great to see you as always. And hopefully, the world will open up and we can do live events again, because that's where my warriors really connect. But we facilitate that through breakouts on Zoom meetings now. But it's so much more fun when it's in person. But anyway, it's great to see you, buddy, and I'll let you know next time I'm up in Denver.
Absolutely. As always, it's a pleasure. And I'm glad I could be on here, and hopefully I was able to add some good value to somebody.
You totally did,
my friend. You were. Thanks, Colby.
All right. Good to see you too, Mark. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. See you later.
Thanks.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411.